Welcome. Yeah. For those of you ill-informed, uncultured rats who might not know, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes trailer dropped a few days ago. Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you, but how have you avoided that on TikTok? Like, do you live under a rock? Because I've seen this bitch bow no less than 400 times. I mean, I've seen it to ABBA, to Taylor Swift. I've seen it to that stupid song that goes, "She said she wished there was two of me." I can't escape it. Anyway, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, or conveniently acronymed TBOSAS, is the prequel book for the Hunger Games trilogy that focuses on President Snow and is set in the era of the 10th Hunger Games. Our Lionsgate besties are at it again, adapting the book into a movie, which is set to come out in November, starring Rachel Zegler and this guy.
I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is.
Sorry. I have a lot of thoughts. And honestly, this Google search alone prompted like half of them. If it's not obvious enough, I take this shit seriously, okay? And I wanted to be able to draw parallels from the book to what I was seeing in the trailer. So I did what any sane person would do. I reread the entire thing last night. Actually, let me rephrase that. I purchased a second copy of this book because I left my original copy at home several states away, and I reread it last night. I think the only thing that would top that on my list of qualifications to do this multimedia analysis is the fact that 6th grade me coordinated a 3-day-long movie shoot with 10 plus people to adapt the original Hunger Games book into a movie that we filmed on our iPad before Lionsgate even released their version. Their version, as if ours is... I mean, ours is better.
Fine.
I am honored to introduce to you the creator of the Hunger Games themselves, Dean Casca Highbottom.
If it was a life or death scenario and I was kidnapped and the kidnapper was like, hey, pick one actor who is going to slay every time in every performance or you die, I would pick Viola Davis. And that's a very likely scenario to happen. So Dr. Gall is clinically insane. And I can say that because she's a doctor. And you just know that Viola Davis has that shit dialed in. She's literally introducing another character, and yet all I can think about is her. Like, she's going to serve. Every game has a victor.
I have summoned you all here for the 10th annual reaping ceremony.
Peter Dinklage. Need I say more? I mean, I probably should, but... slay. These school uniforms go so hard. The monochromatic red look with the blazer and the pleated skirt and the pants underneath the skirt. It's giving Ashley Tisdale on every red carpet in the early 2000s, but better. And we got a little cheeky Plutarch Heavensbee reference in the back, and that is because the room where all of the students are in is called Heavensbee Hall, and a big theme in this book and hopefully the movie is that everyone is a nepotism baby. Every mentor who is part of this 10th Hunger Games mentorship program that Snow is a part of has a character with the same last name in the original series. Fulvia Cardew, Livia Cardew, Arachne Crane, Seneca Crane, Hilarious Heavensbee, Plutarch Heavensbee. It's a fun little inclusion in the trailer if you're a loser like myself who noticed it.
From District 12, Lucy Gray Baird.
Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler looks the part, she can sing, and she improvised this little bow, which she did actually curtsy in the book. Her character curtsies and is basically like, you know. But the way in which she bowed was actually a nod to Jennifer Lawrence when she bowed as Katniss, and was also like, I love when the girlies are just like, Girl boss. I do want to take a hot second to discuss her dress because that is not how I imagined it. It's pretty, like it's prettier than I imagined it to be in the books, but I feel like the symbol of the dress in the books was that she's so out there and different. And she's literally wearing makeup in the books, like red lipstick. And so they kind of toned it down, which I feel like doesn't really go with her character. It seems like they tried to make the dress more fashionable, and I feel like that wasn't really the point.
As a mentor, Mr. Snow, your role is to turn these children into spectacles.
He looks 28. I'm so sorry. I just have to say it. Like, you look scrumptious, but you do not look like you should be walking the halls of a high school unless you're the hot history teacher that everyone has a crush on. I don't know anything about you. I'm sure you're going to do a great job, but from what I'm seeing in the trailer, you're just too old. I'm going to complain at least 50 more times during this trailer about it. I'm sorry. This is the first look we get at some of the tributes. I actually don't have a lot to say about them, but I do have something to say about what they are traveling in. So this is the train car that's transporting them from their district to the capital. And I think it's a very critical part in the book that they are treated like absolute shit. In the books, they're using the same train cars to transport the tributes as they do for livestock, and then they dump them in a zoo, like a literal zoo. Don't get me wrong, this train car does not look like a fun form of confinement, but it doesn't look grotesque. And I think it's really important that the movie makes it as degrading as the book did, or that whole message is just gonna like...
What does my mentor do besides bring me roses?
I do my best to take care of you.
We love a direct book quote from page 43.
You really want to take care of me in that arena?
I would be more into it if he wasn't 28.
You really want to take care of me in that arena?
Okay. The arena... No. I think to make a successful book to movie adaptation, there are things that you can change. But in the case of the Hunger Games, you should not change the arena literally at all. It should be pretty much exactly as described because it's so important to the plot. Why is it inside? I was so confused when I saw that the arena was inside and looks like the fucking Hall of Presidents from Disney. Because I always imagined it like the Rose Bowl Stadium. Kind of Coliseum meets football stadium-esque, but definitely outside and open and just really ill-kept over the years and overgrown. Don't make me do this. The book describes it as an amphitheater. The original structure is now battered and unstable. The lush field of meticulously tended grass had died from neglect. There's towering rows of seats. There's a scoreboard. This is a football stadium, folks. You can't change the arena. It's important to the plotline, okay? Like this, what is this?
I'm Lucky Flickerman, first ever host of the Hunger Games.
My other huge visual complaint from the trailer, aside from the arena, is the aesthetic that they've created. Why does this look like the 1960s? It's no secret that Penn is supposed to mirror the United States, okay? We all looked up what district we lived in when this shit came out. And I know there's not a direct timeline for the Hunger Games, but it's dystopian, which usually means futuristic. And it confuses me so much then as to what timeline we're supposed to be in. Because they have advanced technology, but then it also looks like this. But then if this is kind of 1960s-esque, 64 years later, which would be the 74th Hunger Games, would occur right now. Like 2024, which is close enough. Like... the math isn't mathing for me. I'm so confused. I know there's not an exact timeline for these types of things, but in my mind, this capital should be less far along than the capital we see in the 74th Hunger Games, but it should also be more far along than we are right now in current society. The TVs look like those clunky ass TVs that they would pull out on carts when we were in elementary school. I know that it's post-war, but even in the book, it talks about how post-war technology is scarce. And scarce is very different than technology going back in time 60 years to where TVs were the width of a microwave. I'll survive though, because the casting for Lucky Flickerman is so on point that I actually thought it was Stanley Tucci.
Enjoy the show.
5, 4,
Enjoy the show.
3, 2.
Enjoy the show.
The little enjoy the show audio bite is genius. Oh my god. In the books, there's these turnstiles that they have to use to enter the arena. And because the arena is actually just an old amphitheater from before the war, there's this automated message every time someone enters that says, enjoy the show. When I first watched it before I reread the book again, I forgot about that part. So I was just like, wow, that fits well considering they're trying to make the Hunger Games into a spectacle. But then it's actually even more genius than that. I also love that no matter how evolved we are, there's still a manual countdown. I just love that they're paying like a whole ass dude to be a clock.
42, 41.
Hunter as Tigress, it's perfect.
Enjoy the show.
Here I am interjecting to complain about the arena again. This is supposed to be the arena after it got bombed. I think it's cool that they pay homage to the cornucopia before the cornucopia exists and have the rubble kind of make the shape of one. But like, why is that the only rubble that's jumping out of the ground?
What happens in there?
This is what I mean when I say I'm thrown off by the aesthetic. Because this school had a budget. Like, look at this room. It's huge. They have a gilded Hunger Games sign in the background. But yet, they can't afford better computers? They don't have access to modern technology?
There's a natural goodness built into us all.
What is this look? That, my friends, is Eminem from the 2002 VMAs.
Interesting. Eminem.
Yo.
And her outfit is giving Forever 21. What is the timeline for this movie? However, nothing is more Forever 21 than this still, which is the first look that they gave anyone about this movie. Is this The Fault in Our Stars? I mean, come on. This is like an American Eagle ad. What the hell? You're telling me this man became the president? I guess it really does parallel reality.
Step across that line into evil. Or not.
You hear that, boy? It's the sound of snow falling.
I'm speechless. And I can't ever shut up about anything.
How wonderful that we all get to be here.
Is this the Hoedown Throwdown from the Hannah Montana movie? Because it looks exactly like the Hoedown Throwdown from the Hannah Montana movie.
Everything is about
Gay pride!
You're monsters! All of you!
Why is Sejanus only in this part? Like, he really showed up, said empty chair, do a solo, and then dipped. And I mean, he ate up every second, but like, where is he?
It's the things we love most that destroy us.
Sorry. The cameo with Donald Sutherland's voice goes hard. Donald Sutherland plays the older version of President Snow that we see in the original trilogy, and it's just flawless. Overall thoughts, predictions, etc. Based on the trailer, it seems that the movie is going to be very faithful to its source material in terms of plot and dialogue, which is key for any book to film adaptation. However, I do have some concerns about our leading man. Don't take it personally, you're way too old to play this role. It is so critical to the Hunger Games series that children and teenagers are played by children and teenagers, or at least close enough in age to a teenager that Leonardo DiCaprio would still be interested in you. Ugh. Snow and Lucy Gray are supposed to represent two sides of a coin. Both are similar in age, but in very different circumstances. One is fighting for their literal life, and the other also claims to be fighting for his life, but his life to him means social status, acclaim, and a goddamn university scholarship. Which actually brings me to my other concern about Snow, and it has nothing to do with his casting, but everything to do with the portrayal of his inner dialogue, because it is very important. This is a general obstacle for any book to movie adaptation, because unlike the book, we don't have the main character's constant feed of thoughts, and we don't see through their lens how they're perceiving the world, which makes it much easier in the movie version for a lot of themes and messages to just get lost. And the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is in a particularly unique position because the narrator is Snow, and he's an asshole. He's not like Katniss as a narrator who's unreliable because she's trying to figure out her surroundings and feelings. He just sucks. In the books, we have access to everything that Snow thinks, every way that he reacts internally to an event, and it proves that he's a self-absorbed sociopath. In the movies, if they don't portray that correctly, people are gonna pity him, and that will defeat the entire purpose of the movie. Overall prediction for the movie, I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna serve like 84% audience score and 77% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, but it will in no way top the cinematic masterpiece that is Catching Fire. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. Sorry I disappeared for ages and only The Hunger Games was powerful enough to wake me from my YouTube slumber. I'm back now, so I have a lot of thoughts on a lot of things. Plus I have this microphone, which is really giving me a heightened sense of self-importance. So you'll see more of me. Leave any thoughts, opinions, hateful comments toward Gail, and I will see you soon. Bye!